Melanie Campbell. I am the President and CEO of the National Coalition on Black Civic Participation and convener of the Black Women's Roundtable. I have a mother who was a teacher and a father who taught, was a coach, and broke a lot of barriers in MIMS. Florida Isaac Campbell Jr. He went to HBCU in Florida Memorial, but mother went to Bethune-Cookman. She had 6 of us and went back to school after she had all 6 of us. So kind of grew up around a family that education was key. I would come here as a kid with my other siblings, and we would come hang out in Atlanta and come over here to Clark when they were working here on the campus. And actually, as a kid, I would come on campus, and it was an Upward Bound program. So I would come over here with them when I was like 12, 13. So I kind of was around this place, even not knowing I'd be here, going to school here. So for my family, it was vital that you finish something, and that's kind of what was instilled in me, that you had to have an education. I didn't go to school and study political science. A lot of people would think that I did because of the work that I do now. I actually graduated with a degree in business administration and finance. So I was thinking I was going to dress for success and become a corporate CEO one day. But I was also active in community, come out of an activist family. So I was also very active on the campus. And so Clark College and Atlanta University Center in general, being in a city like Atlanta, bastion of the civil rights movement, so many civil rights icons, political icons, and they recruited us a lot. Even labor unions would come over here and get us to volunteer. I was actually recruited by a couple of folks who were my mentors. One of them is Thomas Dortch Jr. And John Dale Johnson, who were part of the NAACP local. Julian Bond was the president of NAACP local at that time. And so I got involved doing voter registration back then and just was very active. And then I pledged sorority, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, Sigma chapter. And I went down to Andrew Young's campaign when he was running for mayor so I can get my community service in. Okay. Ended up just being a part of this very ecosystem of folks that were in the movement. So that's how I met John Lewis and Mrs. King and Dr. Laurie and Mrs. Laurie and all these folks who, I tell folks it was like light posts in the city, and so if you wanted to be involved, you could be involved. And so that's kind of how I got my start, if you will, not knowing that would end up being my life's work. One of the things that most recently that I am really feel blessed to have been a part of is in my work, is helping to secure the nomination and confirmation of the first Black woman Supreme Court Justice, named Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson. And really the advocacy around that didn't start with her. It started really over a decade ago when several of us, Dr. Dorothy Irene Height, who's one of my mentors, and a lot of us got together when President Obama was in office. And so we've been advocating for a Black woman to be on the Supreme Court that long ago. And so when in 2020, when then candidate Biden said he would nominate a Black woman to the Supreme Court, then we knew that was something that we would continue to advocate. So when he announced that that there was going to be a vacancy, we were ready, and it didn't take him long, to his credit, in the Biden-Harris administration, with our first Black South Asian woman vice president, which is something that we also helped to advocate for. One of the roles that I played was to organize Black women through what we call a Black Women Leaders and Allies Coalition that we had already started around fighting for voting rights, and use that coalition and pull together other coalitions together with Black women. And we challenged our friends to say, you need to stand with us and show up. So as a Black woman, as a sister in this, that was one of the most rewarding moments to get that victory. I don't see myself as this great person. I just try to do my part But the idea of being great is to serve. And the accolades may come soon or late. They may not come when you want them, or may not come as you want them. But people pay attention to serving. I get a little nervous when I get too many awards, like, okay, is it time for me to roll? What's it? But honestly, the serious side, it just makes me want to do more. But also the key for me is cultivating leaders. And so that when I'm not here, that I feel like there'll be people who may remember my name, may not. But they'll say, Melanie Campbell, I remember Melanie Campbell when I was, that would make me feel. That I can remember, like I remember John Dale Johnson and others who blessed my life. The movements have always been, especially for Black people in this country, have been led by young people who got involved in civil rights when they were students. I got involved when I was a student. I had no idea that I would be sitting here in this seat and doing the work that I do. It's more than about money. It's about what are you doing in that dash. You are the leader you're seeking, but also the collective responsibility we have for those who don't have this opportunity to walk these halls and go to these classrooms. And we all have that role to play as a part of our journey.